Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We're going to be ranking Skylanders Giants levels from worst to best. I'm also going to include the original expansion packs from Spyro's Adventure, since they're the only expansion packs that are backwards compatible with another game. Also, I decided to write it down because last time I was stammering and stuttering like a freaking top. We got the whole air element right here, and we'll go on to the list. Some dogs like to bark because that's just their existence. But I actually split this into 4 segments because there's like 20 levels in total if you count the expansion packs. So I divided into 5 levels for 4 sections. So this video's from section 1 to section 2 is going to be very drastic in quality. Maybe, somewhat. So pre-hand, I'm just going to tell you, I've been playing Skylanders Giants and I 3-starred the whole game already. Basically, just did most stuff. And I already have a lot of experience with these levels because I had to replay a bunch of them. And that bird was a dick just to get the 3 stars and all the stuff in some dude named Alorus. It's just some bear who's a shopkeeper. I brought all this stuff too. I had to use multiple Skylanders for that. But we will go on with the list since this has already been 90 seconds of boredom. Maybe. So section 1 I'm going to go with is complete garbage. Also, last time I did a ranking list, it was not viewed very highly because a lot of people said my content should be freaking scrubbed off the internet, and I'm just like, I was ranking Fallout DLC. How toxic is that community? I hear a plane, but don't see one. Sometimes I want to do videos outside, but outside says no, get your butt back in. We like to just disturb your videos. There's a lot of distractions out here, people talking and stuff. So for the 20th spot, basically the worst level is Aerial Attack, level 10. I just think this one's complete garbage, because you start the level in Flynn's ship, most of the area is kind of cut off except for the turret section, and you're basically bombarded with pirates, ghost pirates I think. And they jump on your ship and you beat them up, and that's basically how the level starts. But then you had to go into the turret quarter, which is that one little latch over here, and you jump into that latch, you shoot with a turret, and you destroy ships and bombs. I think it was 2 to 3 times, but all of those were freaking tedious because not everybody likes shooting sections in video games. And so you do that, and then but also when you're on the ship, some ships actually mantle right next to Flynn's ship, and you run on them and you just beat up the people. And the oddest thing is the fact that there's actually a water element gate that you need a giant to access, because I think the first ship probably that actually settles upon Flynn's ship, you walk on it and you have to go up and you go around, and then there's a giant jumpy space. And you get somebody like this to jump down there, and then you have to switch Skylanders unless you're going to go with Thumpback. And you go to your water element thing. It's not really the most annoying thing in the world. It's not really a good element gate either. It's big. It possibly could have been its own level, but it just seemed like it was overextended for its place. So you leave it, you go onto the other ship, you end up going to this bigger ship. I think it's called the Dreadnought, or Dreadnought. So you go on there, you go up an elevator. The funniest thing, the first time I played the level, as soon as I got on there, I was standing right there, and there was something around the corner, and I knew it, but I was like, nah, I'll get that later. Because I thought when you get on the elevator, you can go back down or something. I don't know. That was a dumb move on my part, but most of the level just seems tedious. It's not exactly annoying. There's also an air gate, I think. And that one, again, is as big as the water one. The level just isn't really that fun. It's cool to look at, but that's kind of it. So number 19 is level 19. Dark Light Crypt. In the Giants version, it's a lot worse than it would be in Spyro's Adventure. Honestly, I'd rank all the levels in Spyro's Adventure, but I don't really have I didn't 3-star every level. 3-star every level. I did for I think that half of the first third of the game, but the other 2, it's gonna be impossible to nearly 3-star them because the Hydra boss battle is a lot more difficult than people make it look. Because it looks easy, and then you play it, and then you're like, well, I lost all 32. But getting back on topic, the Darklight Crypt, it's terrible, but when you play on Giants, it's even worse, because with Spyro's Adventure, at least it has a little bit more fun to it, and you run around, and that's kind of it. But with Giants, you get in there, and it literally feels like there's a falling green thing with faces on it. They're intentionally trying to get you. There's only one of them that's actually fair, and that's when you enter that one other area with the little over balcony thing in the floor. That's the only time it's fair. Every time you walk over, you wait for the first one to get up, you go down, first one goes down, the second one basically trapping you and killing you. You get a free death. Or technically a free injury, but then you can't really beat the level without taking damage. And then there's puzzles, which were just as annoying as the original. You got a couple places that are now flat out useless, because one of the buildings is for a chest, one's for nothing, another one's for the day-night thing, or real world and undead world. And that's kind of it. Also, I actually got stuck on the last area when I was trying to get through, and I was like, why ain't this last thing opening? I had to actually look up a YouTube video. You go there, you go to the third one, basically before fighting the boss, and you go to the third one, you wait for the second one to close, and then the first one starts jittering, and then once it opens, you run in. That was a very unnecessary change, but it's how it was. The fire gate in that level literally did not feel fun at all, unlike the original, which actually felt like you were doing something. And it was way too dark, because in the original, I think after you beat it, it lights up. Maybe I'm just misremembering things. But number 18, level 14, which is number 18, which is Auto Gyro Adventure, the one I would never want to replay. Because all you do is fly, shoot things, missile, land, that's it. You also fight pretty difficult enemies, but that's not exactly the majority of the problems. Unless you act like an idiot and just get a level 1 Skylander on there, you're just going to get beat up real bad. It's also sometimes very confusing to know where the store is, because you keep going, there's a landing pad, you go there, oh, this ain't the store, oh, this ain't the store. This is a water gate, that's an undead gate. That's kind of it. That's pretty much it. I think the undead gate also has two or three chop chops. Evil ones. It's not really that entertaining, but let's go on to number 16, which is level 4, Cutthroat Carnival. This one was just plain boring. I liked how it looks. You walk around through it. It's kind of fun. I wish there's probably you can actually go on a Ferris wheel, but this was Skylanders Giants. This is before they actually knew how to do much stuff. It's still a good game. I just mean like some of the levels are terrible. That's a weird sound ghost. Yeah, but with Cutthroat Carnival, the thing that holds it back dramatically is the fact that it feels like it's slow a lot. Because you walk through an area, you go to this one area where the ship kind of swings around, you swing it back, you get the box, you push it back, and then Blobber speaks for the 50th time like, oh crap, I forgot to tell you, there's also there's a keyhole thing, you need a key. I'm like, I have eyes, bud, you don't need to tell me every time I replay the level. And there's always these Sky Stone things. I like Sky Stones, but have it to a nice extent. But at that point, I remember Giants way too fondly, because Sky Stones is not as good as I remember. But then we're going to go last on the complete garbage section. Number 15, level 6, Secret Vault of Secrets. This one was just plain stupid, because you play as you're in a giant robot, which sounds kind of cool, then you realize, oh wait, my Skylander isn't moving, so I'm not exactly a big fan of levels, except for that one trap team where you're in a vehicle. Like, I'm not really a fan of vehicle levels in Skylanders, or ones where you just overly shoot stuff. But with Secret Vault of Secrets, you play as a robot. It feels cool to beat up the robots, but then everything else gets annoying because your robot moves really, really slow. Also, your shooting thing, head hurts. The little shooting dot thing kind of actually goes like this when you're not using it. Like, you're using your robot fists, and then your shooting circle goes, and you don't even notice, and then you're like, oh wait, I need to shoot some. Oh crap. And it's at the corner of your screen. Also, I've been growing my hair out, so that's kind of it. It's mostly boring. It looks kind of cool, but that's kind of how Giants levels are. They look good, but some play like crap. Okay, now let's go to section 2, decent levels, at the 10-minute mark. This is going to be number 14 and level 1, Time of the Giants. I actually like this level, but the fact it's short and it's boring, that's kind of it. Because when you first play it, it's a great tutorial, but when you want to replay it, that's when it gets boring. You got the 3 elements from the starter pack that are, holy crap, them birds are flying pretty low. Because you got 3 of the elemental gates from the starter pack, and that's kind of it. And basically the level is walk here, beat up something, go up trampolines, go into life gate again, throw a rock, jump down. It's basically how you use the giant. I don't know why it couldn't have been over 3 levels, but very subtly, which would have been cool. Integrate your tutorial with the gameplay. I think they did that in the first game somewhat. But yeah. It's overall really short, so you really don't have that much fun replaying the level. It just feels like you're going through like one of them time trials or like one of them heroic challenges. But you play it as a giant, it's really easy. It's a normal character, you kind of have to just wing it. It's not difficult at all either, but then we're going to go with number 13, also level 5, Glacier Gully. This is not the best level in the world. It looks cool when you first go on it, because after a bit, it just looks really dull. It's all snowy and not everything looks good. You get there, there's a magic gate and whatever gate, and you just go there, and it's boring. I liked the level the first time I played, but then you kind of realize, push, push, crystal, push. All you need to do is unfreeze the robot. There's not exactly anything happening in the level. And that's kind of it. Also, Noodles is a very just underused villain in the Skylanders franchise. Until they actually had the Nightmare Express, which was different. Then we have our 12th level, level 18, Pirate Seas. It's as garbage as it was in the original, somewhat. It's actually gotten worse, just like Dark Lake Crypt. Because Pirate Seas in the original, you can actually speed that one properly because they actually have the cards not in your face, and you can actually move it really quickly. In Giants, they slowed down the whole thing and forgot how HUD works, so the cards are literally in your face, all 6 of them when you first start. They fill up the whole screen instead of just in the middle. And when you click a card, it goes, and you have to literally like move your freaking thing so it can just be done reading it. My main problem with that is the fact that last battle sucks, there's not enough fighting, and you basically play a card game. That's basically Pirate Seas, but in Spyro's Adventure at least felt a little cooler. Level... Wait a minute. I think I might have been counting this wrong. Yeah, the next one... wait a minute. Yeah, I guess number 12, level 13, the Oracle. Yeah, just ignore me just saying the numbers, because at that point I think I just truly messed up. Yeah, the Oracle is not exactly the best boss in the world. You kind of need to look it up, because at first I was really confused. I'm like, how does this work? You pick one, and all of a sudden the other choices are different. But I looked it up, and the funniest thing, it's all just because of one choice, and it's like the second one. Basically, heart of a small fish or heart of a large fish. That's the only thing it changes. I think it would have been cool if they expanded on it a little better and just made the level feel a little more full. But that's kind of it. It's just choices, and they don't really feel that unique. You can mix up your playthrough for half of it, and that's kind of it. Okay, now let's go into the last one of decent levels. Level 20, Dragon's Peak. This one's a lot less infuriating than it was in the original. Because in the original, it did not tell you how to shoot a fireball from the dragon, which almost got me killed because of the mines, and it didn't tell me again. And the funniest thing, because with Giants, it has the same enemies that would usually just surprise kill you in the original, which is the blue running bomb trigger happies. They were infuriating, but in this level, it's actually amazing. Because they nerfed it to a point where it doesn't instantly kill you, and you can actually fight them off. Because they're basically in the sleeping position with the bomb, and then they go, oh, and there's a bit of a wind-up. And if you kill them before that wind-up, they're basically harmless. In Spyro's Adventure, it is near difficult to kill those things that quickly. You have to be like straight up trigger happy on it. Just kill them as soon as possible. Most of the level is kind of infuriating because there's the fire that spews everywhere. There's the little things that go at half a mile per hour because you have to wait for it to go from the spike side to the jumpy side. Yeah, and the level was just kind of terrible. Because, I'll give you that, Dragon's Peak is complete garbage in the original. You'll probably see in like, maybe an upcoming video where I rank all the Spyro's Adventures levels. I'd probably write them all down. I don't know if I should, yeah, I'm going to have to go with 4 sections because it's an even number. But now let's go on to our next section at 15 minutes in. Amazing levels. These are ones I actually like to replay sometimes. The first one, this is going to be immediately the one I'm not exactly one to replay all the time, but it's actually a really good level. Ugh. Level 16, Bringing Order to Chaos. The boss battle is actually pretty good. Because I'll tell you, the base game boss battles in Darklight Crypt basically are good boss battles. The other 3 in the DLCs are kind of garbage. But with this one, it's actually pretty good. It's unique, and it actually has Chaos as a giant robot. They totally won't do that again in Swap Force. But with that, the level is actually also pretty good. It's like the 15th one, but extended. And the 15th one's actually pretty good. And so you run around, do some stuff, I think puzzles and stuff. You go around, you end up going in this cool chase thing, which I always switch to Drobot because Drobot literally cannot slow down. Because when you get him to fly, he doesn't stop, which is nice. Because some characters, they fly and then stop, basically having a cooldown, which is dumb. The chase was intense before I had Drobot as a kid, and I was like, oh crap, I gotta hurry. But with Drobot, it just seems easy. But when you're fighting Chaos, it's actually really cool. And probably the only time in Skylanders history where someone actually helps you with fighting the boss. We're going to go with the next one, which is... Let's go back to numbers. Number 9, Level 2, Junkyard Isles. This one's actually a really cool level. I think if they extended upon it, actually the problem with Giants levels is sometimes they feel way too short. I guess that's why Spot Force levels were longer, but we're back to Giants. Junkyard Isles is also the only level that in Giants that takes place in multiple locations, like 3 separate sky islands. You got 3 elemental gates. You got earth, fire. That's all I can remember, but that's just it. It's a pretty neat level, and it's actually a really good level because it reminds me of the first level in Spyro's Adventure, but yeah, just Giantsified. And then we got number 8, which is level 17, Empire Vice. This is the only good expansion level that comes back. Because in Spyro's Adventure, I can tell you 3 of the 4 of them were good, but in Giants only 1 of the 4, which is Empire Vice, the one that's actually pretty good. You play as a giant, you go through everything. I hate how they change out some of the enemies. They could have brought them back, which would be better. Hey guys, this is mow the lawn while someone's recording a video. But yeah, it's actually a pretty good level. You go around, and actually the only bummer part of the level is the boss battle, and that's it. It's just a wall. But yeah, then we're going to go to the next one. Number 7, which is level 15, Lost City of Arcus. This is actually a really good level. It's difficult because it's late game, and I like it like that. It's not abnormally difficult like the Spyro's Adventure levels, which straight up, like, dunk you on your head, like, straight up flat. Like, you cannot beat most of this crap. But with the Lost City of Arcus, I think it's actually a pretty fun level. I can't really think much about it, but I think there's a magic gate too. Then there's number 6, Mulligan Mountain. I'll stop rambling for a bit because after this level, all the other levels are going to be given pretty high praise. But Mulligan Mountain, it's actually a pretty decent level. You got a couple of arena modes. The only hiccup is basically the cave section where you either need a giant or play Sky Stones for a freaking bomb. Other than that, you don't actually play Sky Stones like at all, which is pretty neat. But again, it's better to play as a giant, and there's an arena, which is usually actually kind of fun. Piece of garbage. Okay, now let's go to our final section at 19 minutes. God tier levels. I put them in the 5 for a reason, and it was actually somewhat kind of hard to actually put these levels into certain groups. Well, let's go with number 5. We got level 8, Troll Home Security. This one's actually got a very personal place in my heart. When you play the level, it feels like you're playing an earlier game level, which is really cool. You'll run around, you throw a bomb, or basically be a giant, and there's actually I just mean like the beginning of the level is actually pretty cool. You get there, and then you start going through grasslands. You meet a Chompy Bot, which is a really cool enemy idea. You also kind of just get to spark lock things, whatever they're called. Yeah, I'm kind of getting into that. But I think the level gets really good when you start actually approaching the castle, because once you blow up the cannon, there's some enemies. There's a Sky Stone guy behind it, which is actually pretty good for the game, for some extra play. There's also a water gate right next to it. But when you go in there, my personal favorite part of the level is this literal tower. You jump up, you get in front, you just move in a circle, and I think it looks awesome. It plays cool too. You get on top, you move across. Other than the hiccup with the bombs, the last part of the level is straight up amazing. You run and you run, you get there, and you basically destroy the thing. It's really cool. Sorry I kind of had a little bit of hiccups with things, but let's get back to business. Number 4, level 7, and that's Mulligan Village. I think this level is just entirely unique. Even though it might copy the dark like Crypt type of things, it basically makes it better, because you can choose between a dead looking world that looks kind of nostalgic, or a normal world which basically is alive. And the music's kind of sad, but everything else kind of makes sense. The level is perfectly long. The little block thing might do the dark like Crypt thing, but it's actually a little better at it. You also fight the Chompy Mage, which is a decent boss if you can actually do it right. And most of the levels is actually really good. And then you got number 3, which is Chaos Castle. Hey bud, what are you doing? Okay. Okay. So number 3 was Chaos's Castle, and this level is actually like Troll Home Security, but the best parts is the whole level, because you go up around the castle, and I think it looks pretty good. You got the whole thing with the castle. You jump around, you fight things. It's like a multitude arena until you get the actual one. Actually, I think most of the level is straight up golden. I think the only part I could technically critique it for is on the 2 main paths. Because you got the left one, which is to open one of the bars on the door. And you play Sky Stones with a dude. And then the other one, you have to avoid buzzsaw blades. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's kind of my only cons with it. I think it's actually a pretty good type of level. But now let's go to number 2, which is level 3, Rumble Town. I love this one because it literally reminds me of the original Spyro's Adventure type of levels. Because you go to a town which is just fighting. There's also an arena too. But you meet Brock, who's a cool character. You also go through this Spyro's Adventure looking town. There's a life gate, technically 2 of them, that one has the evil stealth elves and the other is just in a house, which is awesome. And the level just looks pretty good in general, and it even plays well. It's not until like maybe the last part where you truly need a giant to actually 100% it, but other than that, it's actually a really good level. Now let's just wrap this video up at number 1, which is level 11, Drillex's Big Rig, which is a level on an oil rig. How is that not more explained in like Skylanders? People never seem to understand that drill rigs are really awesome. I think they look straight up fantastical. And when you have a level on that, that's just golden. You also have the best boss fight in the game. You also have some pretty decent scaling. You run around. It looks pretty good too, because you run around the level and it just feels amazing. Yeah, and to that, I kind of got way too many distractions. There's someone mowing their lawn over there. There's birds everywhere. And the wind, not much happening, but I'll see you next time.